almost there, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of like half Viking.
Yeah.
So, this is where it all began. Your journey as game developers.
Who are you?
Let's just say I've seen your future. Follow me. Welcome to Xsolla, accelerating game commerce globally. Powered by the Xsolla transaction and business engines. We gave you the building blocks to go from being an unknown player to taking your place among these guys, some of the biggest games on the planet. Now let's see what we mean by acceleration. How do you like your new digs? Xsolla's best-in-class pay station and anti-fraud protection lets you accept payments around the world securely in almost every currency, paving the way for your game to become a global hit. Your players were able to set up subscriptions, putting payments on autopilot and facilitating consistent revenue stream. Xsolla provided you with the tools to take your vision and turn it into this. Thanks to our network of influencers, people around the world are buzzing about your game. With Xsolla, there's nothing that can stand in the way of your dreams becoming a reality.
Hi, welcome everyone to our talk. I hope you enjoyed the little video that we showed earlier. My name is John Ian. I am the Regional Director for Xsolla. I take care of the entire Canadian market. So welcome. Today's talk is the change in the mobile landscape. So as many of you know, there's been a great many changes recently. In terms of payment options and our relationships with traditional mobile platforms. But more specifically, what does that actually mean for you? And why am I'm actually here to unpack some of that, unpack some of our traditional difficulties, and then later on also show you how we're positioned to help mobile developers the world over. So that's a little bit of my intro. A little bit about myself. So I used to be an indie game dev myself. I used to have a studio out in the Maritimes, and we later on grew into becoming a publisher. I've been in the industry for about 13 years, mostly as a biz dev and a marketer, but I've also had my hand in actual game production, working directly as an associate producer on some of our titles, and also working as a game designer and a level designer as well. So what's going on in the mobile space? So basically, traditionally, the traditional platforms have held, I would like to say, some kind of a stranglehold on mobile developers. There's been some great many challenges, and one of the first difficulties encountered by mobile developers is discoverability. So as you know, every day there are more and more apps that are added to these stores that are not necessarily even games. So like for a user acquisition point of view, it's very expensive and challenging to get to these, to get visibility and discoverability on these. So not only are you competing with other games, you're also competing with apps. And so it's a very crowded and noisy marketplace. And it takes a tremendous amount of financial resources to be able to pierce through. On the second challenge is data and information about your audience. For example, Apple's IDFA has been a big challenge for UA, for cross-promotion, for targeting, player segmentation. Basically, you're flying more or less blind. This has put a great strain traditionally on developers. You couldn't typically use marketing methods that are prevalent in other platforms or even other industries. So it's very difficult to get a clear picture of how you can, how to understand your audience and to be able to be more effective with your marketing dollars. The third challenge is the lack of control on your user experience. So we've seen many developers that have done this prior to the momentous court decision that just recently happened, that have gone cross-platform with their game. And the reason why, and have added different payment methods. And this is in the objective, obviously, to reach new audiences across the globe and also to scale their games. And use some of that data that they couldn't otherwise obtain. The fourth challenge is basically profits, right? Your company, your studio is basically a business, and so traditional platforms taking up to 30% on transactions, plus your marketing spend for UA, really takes a hit on your bottom line for each profit for your game. So essentially, it's a big stranglehold on your bottom line. So what does this actually mean going through the recent changes in the landscape? So traditionally, these app stores have held a stranglehold on both payments, discoverability, and data. And recently, the injunction has gone into opening up these policies that will open up doors to mobile developers to expand beyond these traditional platforms as your only source of revenue and your only source of UA. So basically, what does that actually mean concretely? So we're seeing this shift in the industry on August 26th, for example. This is sourced directly from Apple. Basically, they have publicly stated that they give developers more flexibility to reach their customers. Apple is also clarifying that developers can now use communications such as email, share information about payment methods outside of their iOS apps, as well as developers will not pay Apple commission or any purchases taking place outside of the App Store, and users must consent to communication to have the right to opt out. So already now you're seeing that you are now able to gather better intelligence on your player community, and this empowers you to be even more independent and also have ownership of your player base, which is the tendency towards self-publishing. We also see further developments on October 22nd in this line of thought when section 3.1.3 of the IDFA has been deleted. And originally that said developers cannot use information obtained within the app to target individuals, users outside of the app, to use purchasing methods other than in-app purchases, such as sending an individual user an email about other purchasing methods after the individual signs up for an account within the app. So this has been quietly deleted, and this is also sourced from the Apple Store. So how Xsolla is positioned to help you guys overcome some of these traditional challenges? We've have a set of self-publishing tools, game business engine, as you've seen maybe in our little video, basically taking indies to the next level. And this is something we really are passionate about and we believe in. We believe in democratizing the means to business and to give everyone a level playing field to actually build up their business and then expand beyond. So in a nutshell, who we are, Xsolla is the best-in-class technology infrastructure for global game developers and publishers. Basically, we handle all the business aspect of running a studio. We have 16 years of gaming and payments expertise, and we design these tools to be specifically tailored to video games. And we have some of the best anti-fraud on the market specifically for video games. And so I'd like to call your attention now to like the web shop for mobile games. So this is basically how we are positioning ourselves with the changing mobile commerce landscape. So how do we do this? Well, we give you access to more geographies. We have a higher retention rate, especially with players without credit cards. Some of you may be, I'm going to go into this a little later, but there's a significant global population that is actually unbanked. There's less transaction fees as well. There's less risk in distribution. We act as your merchant of record. So basically we handle everything that's taxes, local, federal, national taxes, as well as privacy regulations on a global scale for you. So you don't have to like do your guesswork and actually set up your own business infrastructure. We can build up top-up accounts as well, and manage even subscription. And we give you the player insight that you need to intelligently guide your game, as well as the possibility to create loyalty programs, gifts, and promotions. These are some of our partners, big names, I guess, that you can recognize. These are some of the people that we act on their behalf as the merchant. And so they run their payments through us. So what does new geographies actually mean? Xsolla Payment Network can accept over 700 payment methods in the world. And so what does that specifically mean? I touched on the unbanked earlier. Picture, if you will, somebody from South Africa, Brazil, or some other country like that, that's not necessarily poor, but for some social economic reason can't get access to, say, a credit card or debit card, traditional payment methods that we're used to in the West. And so they can go and opt for an alternative payment method, for example, a gift card, and use that gift card to purchase things in your game. This has opened up a whole new stream of revenue for our partners that are currently using us. And so this can actually open up to you as well. I actually have some math later on in my talk that actually shows the difference of how much more significant that this can mean to your bottom line. So here we actually see that some of our tools on top of our payment system, we actually built self-publishing tools. Here's an example of a top-up page that can be created using our tools. Top-up pages are actually cross-platform. They're linked to either sell virtual currencies or virtual goods at any platform. So one of your users can actually come on here, hit up their game ID, their player ID, and then use any of the 700 payment methods that's local to them in order to purchase goods in your game. So you're actually monetizing audiences that you would normally not be able to monetize. I'm sure some of you are mobile developers and have seen downloads in certain regions of the world. However, you know, see them being monetized because they simply can't pay you. And so with some of these tools that we put together, and if you use the suite together, you can actually get these people to monetize. And so this is what our Webstore infrastructure looks like to not only gain retention, open up your insights, your marketing, but also your monetization. For more details on this, you know, we can come in and have a private meeting. But basically, gamers can go to a store outside of your existing platform, the existing app. They can also log in. We have our login tool that allows you to gain insights on who these people are for purposes of email campaigns and marketing. You can do purchases inside the game, but also outside the game. And it's all connected and completely cross-platform, regardless of whether you're using Google, PC, or even iPhones. So back to some of the math. Some of our developers, and this is actual true data that we've seen with some of our partners, they can expect up to 40% more revenue. And the breakdown goes as follows. Basically, let's say gross revenue is $1 million. If they're just using the platform itself, the App Store itself, you're seeing $300,000, so 30% cut. You see taxes as well. On average, this is an average, assuming a 20%. And then you're left with 500,000. With Xsolla side, you'll see $1 million, and local taxes 200,000. Xsolla's fee, which is only 5%, and payment processing fees, which is one of the payment methods added on top of that, averaging about 5% additional, so it's like 10. And you're left with $700,000. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what the Webstore does for you. And now with the opening and changing landscape, legal landscape, we're seeing the doors being opened up for exponential growth for mobile developers. So that's basically my talk. I know there's a lot of questions. That's my email. You have my web. I will be running a demo of the web shop on November 12th at 10 a.m. So you can drop by. It's a very casual setting. It's going to be a showcase. I have a couple of demos I can show of the web store. Thank you very much. I'll take questions now. So there's no questions. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you around at the conference. And thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening.